What would you do if you discovered that an entire generation of people had vanished from official records, leaving behind only whispers of fear and superstition? Snow always fell heavily on the remote village of Chernobyl, nestled in the shadow of the Ural Mountains. In the winter of 1926, the white flakes turned into an icy wall, cutting the settlement off from the rest of the world for months. The wind howled between the wooden huts, carrying away secrets that no one dared to speak aloud. In those parts, the name Romanov was only spoken in a whisper, with a trepidation that bordered on terror. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more investigations into mysterious events of the past. Anna Sokolova never planned to stay in Chernobyl. As a historical archivist from Moscow State University, she came to gather material for her dissertation on the post-revolutionary years in the Ural villages. Early one February morning, when the sun barely peeked through the gray clouds, Anna entered the district archive building. A dilapidated Tsarist-era structure with high ceilings and the smell of old paper and mold. The elderly archivist, Yelena Petrovna, greeted her with a wariness that Anna initially mistook for the usual provincial distrust of visitors from the capital. The 1920s, Chernobyl, the old woman repeated, peering intently at Anna over her thick-lensed glasses. Many documents were destroyed. A fire in 1943. The war, you know. Her wrinkled fingers nervously fiddled with the edge of her woolen shawl. But if you need general information, I can show you what's left. Anna followed the archive's caretaker through a labyrinth of shelves filled with gray folders and dusty boxes. The smell of old paper grew more intense, mixing with the faint aroma of mothballs from Yelena Petrovna's clothes. The floors creaked under their footsteps, and the sound echoed in the half-empty halls. Cold, bluish light filtered through the small windows covered in frosty patterns, giving the entire space a ghostly appearance. Here, these are all the records we have left for Chernobyl from those years, the archivist said, pointing to a battered box. But please be careful with these papers. They're fragile. In her voice, Anna detected something else. A warning that clearly didn't refer to the physical condition of the documents. The first few hours of work turned up nothing unusual. Income and expense ledgers from the local cooperative, reports on agricultural work, lists for the distribution of food under the Podrazvyorska food requisitioning policy. The usual administrative routine of a young Soviet state trying to establish control over remote areas. Anna took notes and photographed individual pages, but felt that there was nothing truly valuable for her research here. Toward evening, as the winter twilight began to thicken outside the windows and Anna's eyes were already tired from reading faded ink, she stumbled upon a thin folder tucked between two thick registration journals. The folder was tied with a faded red ribbon, and the yellowed label had written in uneven handwriting, Case number 147, Romanovs. Not to be disclosed. What did you find? Yelena Petrovna's voice suddenly rang out, very close, startling Anna. The archivist stood behind her, and in the dim light of the desk lamp, her face looked like a wax mask with deep shadows instead of eyes. Some documents about the Romanov family, Anna replied, surprised by the old woman's reaction. They're local residents. Yelena Petrovna didn't answer immediately. She slowly reached out her hand, as if to take the folder, but then lowered it and quietly said, There were many Romanovs in these parts, a common last name. She paused. It's getting late. The archive closes in 15 minutes. Anna spent the remaining time quickly scanning the contents of the folder and taking a few photographs. Inside, she found several official documents with NKVD, People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs, stamps dated from the 1930s, several sheets with handwritten witness testimonies, and a tattered photograph. It depicted a large family against the backdrop of an impressive wooden mansion. Men with similarly stern faces, a woman with a straight back and piercing gaze, and many children of different ages lined up by height. They all had the same piercing, light eyes looking directly into the camera with an expression that Anna couldn't quite define. Whether it was pride, defiance, or something else entirely. Back at the hotel, the only one in Chernobyl, with its sagging beds and creaky floors, Anna spread out the photographs she had taken on a small table by the window. Outside the glass, thick snow was falling, and the wind threw it in handfuls against the window panes, as if someone invisible was trying to get her attention. A dim light bulb under the ceiling provided barely enough light to work, and Anna pulled the desk lamp closer to get a better look at the documents. The first was an official NKVD report from 1937. During an inspection, serious violations were revealed in the maintenance of civil status records in the village of Chernorykai. Multiple discrepancies were found in the birth and death registration books for the period from 1926 to 1936. Particular attention is drawn to the situation with the Romanov family, which occupies a dominant position in the local economy and public life. According to documents, brothers Nikolai Vasilyevich and Alexander Vasilyevich Romanov live in a manor on the outskirts of the village with Nikolai's wife, Daria Mikhailovna, and 37 children. Explaining such a number of children naturally is impossible, especially since many of them, according to the records, were born with intervals of several months. The physical resemblance of the children, recorded in the witness interrogation protocols, is also suspicious. Next came the testimonies of local residents recorded by NKVD investigators. Anna read them, feeling a chill run down her spine. According to the testimony of citizen Vasilyeva, M.I., a midwife who delivered babies to women in Chernorykai, Daria Romanova was pregnant no more than 5 or 6 times between 1926 and 1936. At the same time, new children were constantly appearing in the Romanovs' house. Vasilyeva claims that young women regularly disappeared in remote villages, and local residents associated these disappearances with the activities of the Romanov brothers, who often went on long business trips. Upon returning from such trips, new children would appear in the house. From the testimony of citizen Kuznetsov I.P., a former employee of the Romanovs estate, in the basements of the main house, there were rooms where we ordinary workers were forbidden to go. One winter in 1929, I went down there to check the heating pipes after severe frosts. I heard a woman crying and singing in an incomprehensible language behind one of the doors. When I told the senior stableman about this, he turned pale and told me to forget about it if I wanted to live to see spring. Testimony of citizen Solovyova, A.F., a local schoolteacher. The Romanov children attended school irregularly. They were all unusually similar to each other, although of different ages. They all had the same light blue eyes with an unusual shade, almost transparent. They kept to themselves, never interacted with other children. When I tried to talk about this with Daria Romanova, she looked at me with such a look that I couldn't sleep for several nights. A week later, my cat died under strange circumstances, and a month later I was transferred to a school in a neighboring district 60 kilometers away. The last document in the folder was a short conclusion. The investigation into the Romanov family case is terminated due to the absence of a crime. Discrepancies in the documents are explained by the negligence of local civil registry offices. It is recommended to strengthen control over record-keeping. The Romanovs' estate is requisitioned for state needs. There is no information on the further fate of the family members. This dry wording clearly concealed something more. How could an entire investigation, begun with such serious suspicions, simply disappear without any consequences? And what happened to this huge family? Anna looked at the photograph, at those identical faces with piercing eyes, and felt that there was something far more sinister behind this story than a simple bureaucratic error or family oddities. In the morning, Anna returned to the archive, determined to learn more, but Yelena Petrovna greeted her with even greater wariness. Yesterday, you were looking at the Romanov case. It wasn't a question, but a statement. I'm afraid you won't be able to continue working with those documents today. An order has been received to conduct an unscheduled inventory. The archive is closed for an indefinite period. Anna tried to object, but to no avail. The heavy door of the archive closed before her, leaving her in the frosty air with a growing feeling that she had stumbled upon something the local authorities preferred to keep secret, even after so many decades. Deciding not to give up so easily, Anna headed to the local cafe, the only place in Chernorykai where residents gathered. It was a small room with cracked tiles on the floor and plastic tables, reeking of fried oil and cigarette smoke. Several elderly men were playing dominoes in the corner, and a full-figured middle-aged woman was wiping glasses behind the counter. Anna ordered tea and cautiously tried to strike up a conversation with the waitress. "I'm studying the history of these places. I heard there was once a large family named Romanov living here." The woman froze for a moment. Her hand with the rag stopped halfway to the glass. Then she slowly put down the rag, leaned towards Anna, and quietly said, "It's not worth talking about them out loud, especially now when it's snowing." "Why?" Anna asked just as quietly. The waitress looked around as if checking whether anyone was listening to their conversation, and continued even more quietly. "My grandmother worked as a servant in their house. She said that every winter, when the snow cut the village off from the world, strange things happened in that house. Screams were heard from the basements, and then new children would appear." She straightened up and said loudly, "Your tea is 50 rubles." Anna understood the hint. The conversation was over, but now she was sure she was on the trail of something significant. After tea, she decided to find the place where the Romanovs' estate once stood. According to the documents, it was located on the outskirts of the village, near the forest. The February day was short, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon it was already getting dark. The snow continued to fall, turning the world around into a blurred white haze. Anna walked along Chernorikhai's main street, which gradually narrowed, turning into a snow-covered path leading to the forest. The wooden houses became increasingly sparse until finally they were left behind. Anna wasn't sure she was going in the right direction until she saw an old stone fence, almost completely hidden under snow and wild bushes. Behind it were the remains of a large wooden structure. Timbers blackened by time, a collapsed roof, empty window sockets. What had once been a majestic estate was now a ruin, slowly being swallowed by nature. The gate was locked with a rusty padlock and chain, but Anna found a place where the fence had collapsed and was able to squeeze through. The snow here was untouched, deep, and every step was difficult. The silence was such that Anna could only hear her breathing and the dull thud of her heart. Twilight was thickening, giving the ruins a sinister look. The main house was too damaged and probably unsafe, so Anna decided to first explore the area around it. Behind the house, she found several small buildings, probably former outbuildings. One of them, made of brick with a metal door, looked the least damaged by time. The door was ajar, and Anna, turning on the flashlight on her phone, cautiously peered inside. It was something like a pantry or cellar, a small room with an earthen floor and red brick walls. In the corner lay some boxes and old tools covered in a thick layer of dust. Nothing interesting. Anna was already about to leave when she noticed that one of the walls looked different. The bricks were newer and laid less neatly than the others. Driven by curiosity, she went closer and shone the flashlight on this wall. Between the bricks were traces of cement, clearly applied much later than the building's construction. In one place, several bricks were missing, forming a small hole. Anna bent down and shone the light inside. Behind the wall was an empty space, another room or passage. Anna tried to widen the hole by loosening the neighboring bricks. They gave way easily, as if they had been laid without mortar. Soon, she was able to remove enough bricks to squeeze inside. Behind the false wall was a narrow corridor leading down. The air here was musty, with a strange mixture of smells. Mold, old books, and something else that Anna couldn't identify. The walls were damp, covered in mold and some strange symbols painted in faded red paint. The light from the flashlight created bizarre shadows that seemed to move on their own. Anna slowly moved forward, feeling a growing unease. The corridor descended deeper underground, becoming narrower all the time. After a few minutes, she found herself in front of a wooden door covered with metal strips. The door wasn't locked and creaked open when Anna pushed it. Behind the door was a circular room, something like an underground chamber or crypt. In the center stood a stone table or altar, and around it were several wooden chests. The walls were covered with the same strange symbols as in the corridor, but here they were clearer and more complex. Anna had never seen such writing. It didn't resemble any alphabet she knew. On the stone table lay a large book in a leather binding. Next to it were metal bowls and some tools whose purpose Anna couldn't determine. She went closer and cautiously opened the book. The pages were yellowed with age, covered in the same incomprehensible script. Between the pages were inserted photographs, dozens of photographs of women of different ages. On the back of each photograph were notes in Russian. Name, age, and some numbers, possibly dates. The last entries were dated from 1937. Anna flipped through the pages, feeling a growing disgust and fear. The book seemed to document some strange ritual or experiment. Among the incomprehensible symbols, she could make out individual Russian words and phrases. Blood, fertility, purity of line, eternal life. In one of the chests, Anna found a stack of notebooks filled with neat handwriting. It was a diary kept by someone from the Romanov family, judging by the dates, between 1926 and 1937. Anna began to read, and what she learned made her blood run cold. January 10th, 1926. The revolution has deprived us of everything that mattered in the old world. Titles, wealth, position in society. But they couldn't take away the most important thing, our knowledge and our blood. We, the Romanovs, are not who they think we are. Our line is much older than the dynasty that ruled Russia. We keep secrets rooted in the times when these mountains weren't even called the Urals. And now, when the world has plunged into chaos, it's time to reclaim what is rightfully ours. March 15th, 1926. Alexander fully supports my plan. Daria resisted at first, but now she understands the necessity of our actions. The old books don't lie. In order to obtain what we seek, we need children, many children, but they must be special. They must carry our blood, but be different enough to avoid degeneration. The ideal solution, to use different mothers, but the same paternal material. Alexander and I, the last men in our line, we must act decisively. June 20th, 1927. The first experiments were successful. The children are growing strong and healthy. They all have the same eyes, the sign of the purity of our blood. But we need more. The process requires a constant influx of new energy. Women from neighboring villages are not strong enough. Most of them can't withstand the ritual to the end. We must look further. December 7th, 1928. The local priest is becoming a problem. He asks too many questions about our children, about why they all look so alike. I invited him to dinner to explain the situation. If he doesn't understand, we'll have to take action. December 8th, 1928. The priest won't be returning to the village. His body will serve a greater purpose in our basement. Daria is already preparing everything necessary for the ritual. This winter, we'll take a decisive step towards our goal. The entries continued, becoming increasingly insane and frightening. The last entry was dated July 1937. They came today, people in uniforms with questions about our children, about the women who disappeared in the area. We were ready for this. Most of the documents have been destroyed. The children have been sent to a safe place. Daria is completing the final preparations. If everything goes as planned, we'll meet again beyond the edge of time, in a place where there is neither cold nor death. And if not, so what? These walls hold enough secrets and can keep a few more. Anna closed the diary, feeling a chill run down her spine. The story that unfolded before her was too terrible to believe and at the same time too detailed to be a simple fabrication. The Romanov brothers were obviously conducting some monstrous rituals, using local women to give birth to children whom they considered part of their insane plan. But what happened to them after the arrival of the NKVD? Why was the investigation so abruptly terminated? And most importantly, where did the dozens of children mentioned in the documents go? She decided to examine the remaining chests. In one of them, she found a stack of photographs more recent than those in the book. They depicted children of different ages, but all with the same piercing blue eyes. The photographs were dated in the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s. The last pictures were taken in the early 2000s. In another chest lay newspaper clippings from different years. They all concerned strange incidents in different parts of the country. Unexplained disappearances, mysterious deaths, cases of mass hysteria. There were notes in the margins in the same handwriting as in the diary. Our children continue the work. The influence is expanding. 5 more years until the cycle is complete. Suddenly, Anna heard a sound. The creak of a door upstairs. Someone else had entered the building. She turned off the flashlight and froze, listening. Footsteps were coming from above, slow, cautious, but confident, as if the person knew exactly where they were going. Anna looked around for a place to hide. The only option was a large chest in the corner of the room. She quietly approached it, lifted the lid, and climbed inside, trying not to make any noise. From inside, she left a small gap to see what was happening in the room. The footsteps were getting closer. The light of a flashlight danced across the walls of the corridor. And then a figure appeared in the doorway. It was Yelena Petrovna, the archivist, but now she looked different. Her back straight, her movements confident, her gaze sharp and piercing. In her hand, she held not only a flashlight but also some kind of bundle. The old woman approached the stone table, placed the bundle on it, and unwrapped it. Inside was another book similar to the one Anna had found earlier. Yelena Petrovna opened both books and began to read something quietly, in a language that Anna had never heard before. The sounds coming from the old woman's mouth seemed ancient and alien, as if they weren't meant for the human throat. As the archivist read, the symbols on the walls began to glow faintly with a reddish light. The temperature in the room dropped noticeably. Anna could see her own breath turning into steam. Fog began to rise from the cracks in the stone floor, creeping across the surface, enveloping Yelena Petrovna's legs. "I know you're here," the old woman suddenly said in Russian, interrupting her reading. "Come out. They've been waiting for you." Anna's heart froze. How did the archivist know about her presence? And who are they? "I feel your fear," Yelena Petrovna continued, slowly turning towards the chest. "It saturates the air, makes it thick. Such a sweet aroma for those on the other side." Anna huddled into a ball inside the chest, trying to breathe as quietly as possible. Through the gap, she could see the old woman approaching her hiding place, shuffling her feet across the stone floor. "We've been watching you since the moment you arrived in Chernobyl." Yelena Petrovna's voice now sounded different, deeper, more confident, as if another person were speaking. "You're not the first to be interested in the history of the Romanovs, but you may be the last." The lid of the chest suddenly flew open, and Anna came face to face with the archivist. The old woman's eyes, which had previously been dull and faded, now glowed with a piercing blueness, exactly the same as that of the children in the photographs. "You must understand what happened here," Yelena Petrovna said, reaching out her hand. "You must see the truth with your own eyes before you become a part of it." As if hypnotized, Anna took the outstretched hand and allowed her to help her out of the chest. The old woman's hand was unexpectedly warm and strong. Nikolai and Alexander Romanov were not ordinary people. Yelena Petrovna began, leading Anna to the stone table. They were the keepers of knowledge that existed long before the first settlements appeared in these mountains. Knowledge of how to overcome death. She pointed to the open books. The ritual required special conditions. Children born from one father but different mothers. All with the same blood but with different souls. 49 children, the magic number necessary to complete the cycle. Are you also from the Romanov family?" Anna asked, feeling a strange numbness. The fear hadn't gone away, but it was mixed with a morbid curiosity. "I am Daria Romanova," the old woman replied with a smile that sent a chill down Anna's spine. "Or what she became after the 1937 ritual." "But that's impossible," Anna whispered. "You must be over 100 years old. Time ceases to matter when you exist in several places at once," the woman replied, waving her hand over the stone table. "My physical body is aging, yes, but the essence remains unchanged. And soon, when the cycle is complete, even that limitation will disappear." "What cycle?" Anna asked, taking a step back. "What did you do with those women, with the children?" "We didn't kill them, if that's what you're thinking." Yelena Petrovna, or Daria, shook her head. "We gave them a chance to become part of something bigger. Those who were suitable for the ritual gave birth to children, special children. The children grew up, traveled around the country, started their own families, but they all remained connected to us. By blood, by ritual, by destiny. She took one of the photographs from the stack on the table and handed it to Anna. The picture showed a young man with the same piercing blue eyes. "This is your grandfather, isn't it?" Daria asked with a smile. "Vasily Sokolov, one of our children, sent to Moscow in the 1940s. His mother was strong. She was the only one who survived the ritual and bore 3 more children to Nikolai." Anna stared at the photograph in horror. The man really did look like her grandfather, whom she only remembered from childhood memories. The same eyes, the same cut of the lips. "You're lying," she whispered. "This is impossible. Check your genealogy when you return to Moscow," Daria smirked. "If you return, we have been closely following the descendants of our children, those in whom our blood is strong. And when we saw you, your eyes, your strength, we realized that you were perfectly suited to complete the cycle." "What cycle?" Anna asked again, feeling the ground slipping out from under her feet. "The disappearance," Daria simply replied. "The transition to another state of being, where there is neither death nor time, only pure existence. Nikolai and Alexander are already there, and soon all those in whom their blood flows will join them." She gestured with her hand, and the symbols on the walls flared brighter. The floor under Anna's feet trembled. "We have been waiting almost a century," Daria continued, "waiting for the birth of the one who can complete the ritual, the one who carries the strength of the original source, but purified by time and distance. And now you are here, blood of our blood, returned to the source." Anna retreated until her back was against the wall. Fear paralyzed her, preventing her from thinking clearly. Everything she had learned in these 2 days formed a monstrous picture, too insane to be true and too detailed to be a lie. "I will not participate in your ritual," she said, trying to make her voice sound firm. "Whatever you're planning, I won't do it." "Oh, my dear," Daria smiled, and there was nothing human in her smile. "You are already participating. From the moment you crossed the threshold of this crypt, from the moment you read our records, from the moment you learned the truth about your blood." She pointed to the floor, and Anna saw in horror that she was standing in the center of a large symbol drawn on the stone. The same one. What was depicted in the book next to the words portal and transition. "When the sun sets completely and the moon rises above the mountains, the gates will open," said Daria, "and you will be our guide, the last key." "Why me?" whispered Anna, desperately searching for a way out of this nightmarish situation. "Because all the lines converge in you," Daria replied. "You are a descendant of both Nikolai and Alexander. The blood of both brothers flows in your veins, purified by time and distance. You are the perfect catalyst." The old woman began to hum, and her voice seemed to echo off the walls, creating a terrible cacophony of sounds. The symbols on the floor beneath Anna's feet began to glow, first faintly, then brighter and brighter. She tried to move, but found she couldn't, as if an invisible force held her in place. In desperation, Anna reached for her phone, the only thing connecting her to the outside world. But before she could get it out, Daria made a sharp gesture with her hand, and the phone flew out of Anna's pocket, smashing against the stone wall. "No witnesses," the old woman said, shaking her head. "No evidence. When it's all over, no one will even remember that you came to Chernorikai." The floor beneath Anna's feet began to change. The solid stone seemed to liquefy, sucking at her legs. In a panic, she tried to get out, but the more she struggled, the deeper she sank. "Don't resist," Daria said, watching her struggle. "It will only speed up the process. Let your blood remember who you really are." Suddenly, a loud crack came from above, followed by the sound of a collapse. Dust and small stones rained down from the ceiling. Daria looked up, frowning. "What is that?" she muttered. "Who else has come?" Taking advantage of the moment when the old woman's attention was diverted, Anna made one last desperate effort and broke free from the sucking floor. She rushed toward the exit, but Daria was unexpectedly fast. The old woman blocked her path. Her eyes now glowed with an unnatural blue light. "You're not going anywhere," she hissed, reaching for Anna's throat. At that moment, part of the ceiling collapsed, and a stream of light poured through the opening. Someone was shining a powerful flashlight from above, and the harsh light made Daria recoil, shielding her eyes. "Anna, are you there?" A man's voice called from above. "Help!" Anna cried, rushing to the opening in the ceiling. A rope was lowered from above, and Anna grabbed it. At the same moment, Daria lunged at her, but it was too late. Anna was already being pulled up. The old woman howled with an inhuman, guttural sound that chilled the blood. "You will return!" she screamed as Anna was pulled through the opening in the ceiling. "Your blood calls to you. You cannot escape your destiny." Once outside, Anna saw a group of people. Several local men with flashlights and shovels, and a uniformed police officer. "What were you doing down there?" one of the men asked, helping her to her feet. "Those cellars are dangerous. They could collapse at any moment." "There's a woman down there," Anna gasped. "Elena Petrovna, the archivist. She's crazy. She tried to kill me." The police officer shone his flashlight down into the basement, but no one could be seen, only dark emptiness and rubble. "There's no one there," he said. "And there couldn't be. That basement has been sealed up for years. We just broke through the hole when we heard the screams." "But I was there," Anna exclaimed. "I saw books, photographs, diaries. She told me about rituals, about the Romanov children." The men exchanged glances, their faces showing doubt and concern. "Let's get out of here," the police officer said gently, taking Anna's arm. "You need to get warm and calm down. It's dangerous to be here, especially in the dark." They led her away from the ruins of the estate. Snow was still falling, but not as heavily. A full moon hung above the horizon, casting an eerie light on the snow-covered landscape. At the police station, Anna was given hot tea and her statement was recorded, although it was obvious that they didn't believe her. The story of secret rituals, centuries of existence, and supernatural abilities sounded like nonsense, especially given that, according to the officer on duty, no Elena Petrovna existed. No woman with that name had ever worked in the local archive. "You'd better leave tomorrow on the first bus," the police officer advised, closing his notebook. "These old ruins stir the imagination, especially when you know the stories about the family who lived there." "What stories?" Anna asked quickly. "Just old village tales," the police officer shrugged. "They say the Romanov family practiced black magic, that after their disappearance in 1937, people disappeared in the district for a long time, that if you go to the ruins of the estate during a full moon, you can see the ghosts of children with blue eyes. Just superstitions." Anna returned to the hotel feeling exhausted and confused. What had been reality, and what had been a figment of her imagination? Had she really met Daria Romanova, a woman born more than 100 years ago? Or was it a hallucination caused by overwork and the stories of the locals? In her room, she took out her laptop and tried to find information about her grandfather, Vasily Sokolov. There was little data in the family archive, only that he was born in 1942 in a small village in the Urals, then moved to Moscow, where he received an education and worked as an engineer. Anna had never thought about it before, but now the lack of information seemed suspicious. She opened the folder with family photos and found several pictures of her grandfather. In one of them, taken in the 1960s, he was standing near some industrial site, smiling at the camera. Anna zoomed in on the photo, looking closely at his face, and felt a chill of horror. Her grandfather had the same piercing blue eyes as the children in the photos in the basement, the same shape of lips, the same face shape. He was one of them, one of the Romanov children. Shaken by this discovery, Anna spent a sleepless night trying to make sense of everything she had learned. If her grandfather really was a descendant of the Romanovs, then their blood flowed in her veins too. Then everything Daria had said could be true. In the morning, packing her things before leaving, Anna found a piece of paper in her jacket pocket that hadn't been there before. It had only a few words written on it. "You will return, blood calls, blood we await." The handwriting was the same as in the diary from the basement. Anna left Chernobyl on the first bus with a firm intention never to return to that village. But as she moved further away from the Ural Mountains, she began to notice strange things. Periodic memory lapses, moments when she seemed to fall out of reality for a few minutes, and dreams, vivid, disturbing dreams in which she saw the stone basement, the glowing symbols, and the children with piercing blue eyes calling her to join them. Returning to Moscow, Anna's first act was to go to the archive where documents about the residents of the Ural region were kept. She wanted to find confirmation or refutation of the story told by Daria, but to her surprise and horror, she discovered that all records of the village of Chernobyl for the period from the 1920s to the 1940s were missing. The archivist explained that these documents had been destroyed in a fire in the regional archive in the 1990s. Too convenient a coincidence to be accidental. As the next step, Anna decided to check her family tree more thoroughly. She contacted a genealogical company specializing in finding ancestors and ordered a detailed study of her family line. The results came in a month and they were strange. Information about her grandfather's parents was missing. Instead of names and dates, the document said, "Data not preserved." Meanwhile, the dreams became more vivid and frequent. Now Anna saw not only the basement, but also a strange world beyond reality. A place where there was neither time nor space in the usual sense, but only endless existence. And there, in this place, people with blue eyes were waiting for her. Dozens, hundreds of people, all similar to each other, all connected by one blood. Every morning, Anna woke up with the feeling that a part of her had remained in that strange world, and every day this feeling became stronger. 3 months after returning from Chernobyl, Anna discovered that her eyes, which had always been brown, began to change. The irises gradually lightened, acquiring a bluish tint. Doctors couldn't explain this phenomenon, attributing it to a rare genetic anomaly or the effects of stress. Anna knew the truth. The blood of the Romanovs, dormant in her veins, was awakening. What had begun in the basement of the old estate continued within her, changing her at the cellular level. She began to see strange symbols everywhere. In patterns, cracks in the asphalt, in the arrangement of stars in the night sky, in random lines on the pages of books, symbols similar to those in the basement, on the walls and in the ancient books, and she began to understand their meaning, as if some part of her brain had always known this language, but until now had not had access to it. In her apartment, Anna created something like a research center. The walls were hung with photographs, maps, notes. She tried to track all the cases of strange disappearances in the Ural region over the past 100 years, all the mentions of the Romanov family, all the unexplained events that could be connected with their activities. Gradually, a picture began to emerge before her, not a local history of one insane family, but a large-scale plan stretching over a century. The Romanov children had indeed scattered throughout the country. Many of them reached high positions in various fields: science, politics, the military, and all of them seemed to be working towards one goal, the nature of which Anna could not yet fully understand. One evening, while browsing the news on the internet, Anna came across a note about a strange natural phenomenon in the Ural Mountains. In the Chernobyl region, an unusual aurora borealis was observed, although this phenomenon is not typical for this latitude. Scientists could not explain the nature of this phenomenon. Attached to the note was a photograph. Against the background of the dark sky, blue-green lights shimmered, forming a pattern in the sky that was painfully familiar to Anna, the very symbol that was drawn on the floor in the basement, the symbol of the portal. That night, Anna had the most vivid and realistic dream of all. She was standing on top of a mountain above Chernobyl. People gathered around her, dozens, hundreds of people with blue eyes. They sang in an ancient language, and their voices merged into a single melody that vibrated the air. Above them, the sky shimmered with all shades of blue and green, and in the center of this glow, a passage opened, a dark vortex leading somewhere beyond reality. Daria Romanova stood next to Anna, but now she looked different. A young, beautiful woman with piercing blue eyes and long, dark hair. "The time has come," she said, holding out her hand. "The cycle is complete. The gates are open. We can leave." And Anna, to her horror, found that she wanted it. Wanted to step into this passage, leave behind the ordinary world, and join her real family, those with whom she was connected by blood and fate. She woke up in a cold sweat with a frantically beating heart, and the first thing she saw when she looked in the mirror was her eyes, which had completely changed color. Now they were bright blue, piercing like all the Romanov children. That same day, Anna bought a train ticket to Ekaterinburg. She could no longer resist the call of blood. Something was happening in Chernobyl, something she was destined to be a part of. When the train left from Yaroslavsky station, Anna felt a strange relief, as if she had finally stopped fighting the current, which was still stronger than her. She didn't know what awaited her in those snow-covered mountains, but she was sure of one thing. She would finally learn the truth about her origins and about who the Romanovs really were. She was alone in the compartment, and when it got dark outside, Anna took out the notebook in which she had been writing down her dreams and observations of the last few months. Rereading these notes, she noticed a pattern that she had previously missed. Certain dates repeated. December 21st, the winter solstice. It was on this day that strange events related to the Romanov family had occurred in different years, and it was this day that was coming in 3 days. By a strange coincidence, her train was scheduled to arrive in Ekaterinburg on the morning of December 21st. Falling asleep to the measured clatter of the wheels, Anna thought that perhaps all her research, all her searches for the truth, were just an illusion of choice, that in reality she had always been moving along a predetermined path, guided by a force that existed long before her birth, and that perhaps the real journey was only just beginning. On the morning of December 21st, 2024, as the train approached Ekaterinburg, an unusual natural phenomenon was observed over the Ural Mountains, an aurora borealis of unprecedented beauty and intensity. Scientists recorded strange electromagnetic fluctuations in the area of the village of Chernobyl, so strong that the instruments went off scale. On the same day, local residents noticed a strange procession moving from the station towards the abandoned Romanov estate. Dozens of people of different ages, all with the same piercing blue eyes. They walked in silence, as if in a trance, ignoring the cold and snow. By the evening of the same day, a luminous cloud shimmering with all shades of blue had formed over the ruins of the estate. Local residents who watched this phenomenon from afar said that they saw people entering this glow and disappearing, as if dissolving into the air. When the police and scientists arrived on the scene the next morning, they found no traces of a large gathering of people, nor any anomalies. The ruins of the estate looked as usual, abandoned, dilapidated, covered with fresh snow. The only strange circumstance was that in the basement, where there used to be a stone room with symbols, there was now a deep abyss going so far down that the beam of the most powerful flashlight did not reach the bottom. Search operations were suspended a week later due to the risk of collapse. The entrance to the basement was walled up and a sign was erected prohibiting visits to the estate grounds. The investigation into the disappearance of dozens of people with the same blue eyes yielded no results. According to the official version, there was an accident, a ground collapse under an old building, as a result of which people who had gathered there to participate in some sectarian ceremony died. But there were other theories. Strange messages appeared on the internet. People from different cities claimed to have seen their missing relatives or acquaintances in the most unexpected places. A woman from Novosibirsk swore that she had seen her missing sister at a train station in Moscow, but when she called out to her, she looked right through her with piercing blue eyes, as if not recognizing her, and then dissolved into the crowd. A man from St. Petersburg claimed that his missing brother had appeared in a family photo taken on vacation in Crimea, even though his brother had definitely not been with them on that trip. In the photo, he stood in the distance, looking directly at the camera with his bright blue eyes. Many eyewitnesses said that they had met these strange people with blue eyes only in certain places. Near old buildings, in abandoned villages, in places with ancient history, and always near water, frozen or flowing. Among the missing was Anna Sokolova, a young historian from Moscow State University. Officially, she was listed as missing, and the police assumed that she was among those who died in the collapse of the basement of the Romanov estate. But sometimes, on particularly cold winter nights, when snow covers the Ural Mountains, local residents see a strange woman wandering around the ruins of the old estate. She has piercing blue eyes and long, dark hair. She leaves no footprints in the snow and never speaks to people. But if you look at her for a long time, You can notice that sometimes her figure becomes transparent. The outlines of trees and stones show through her. The old people say that this is the spirit of Anna Sokolova, the last victim of the Romanov curse, that she is doomed to wander forever around the place of her death, finding no peace. But there are those who believe in another story. They say that Anna did not die in that basement, that she, like other descendants of the Romanovs, has passed into another state of being, that she now exists simultaneously in several realities, free from the constraints of time and space, and that, if you come to the ruins of the estate on the night of the winter solstice, when the moon is full and the snow falls especially thickly, you can see figures with blue eyes flitting between the trees. They move towards the old basement, gathering around the abyss, which locals now call the Romanov Gates. And if you listen closely, you can hear them singing in an ancient, forgotten language, calling out to those in whom their blood flows. Every year, on the night of the winter solstice, several people disappear in Russia. Most of them are found frozen in snowdrifts, drowned in rivers, or killed in accidents. But some disappear without a trace, and if you study their family histories deeply enough, you can find a strange pattern. All of them had ancestors from the Ural region, and many, in their family albums, can find old photographs of relatives with unusually bright, piercing blue eyes. This is a story that is not told in tourist brochures, a story that is whispered from generation to generation by the residents of small villages lost among the Ural Mountains. A story about a family that found a way to cheat death, but paid a terrible price for it, and about a woman who wanted to find the truth, but became part of the mystery herself. If you ever find yourself in those parts in winter, when snow covers the ground with a silvery blanket and the wind howls in the bare branches of the trees, stay away from the ruins of the old Romanov estate. Don't look into the eyes of strangers. And if at night you hear a strange singing coming from the forest, close the windows and doors and do not go out until dawn, because the Romanov dynasty still exists, and they are still looking for new descendants to replenish their ranks. And who knows, maybe their ancient, forbidden blood also flows in your veins.